solute silence of the Blackwood sound. Rachel killed the throttle, letting the skiff drift. The wake behind them, which had been a churning, frothy white for the last hour, smoothed instantly into a mirror of oily, ink-black water. "Did you hear that?" Rachel asked, her voice tight. Sarah didn't answer immediately. She was squinting through her telephoto lens, the heavy glass clicking as she adjusted the focus. "It's not just the engine, Rach. Look at the water. It's too still. Like someone poured syrup over the entire bay." Rachel looked over the gunwale. There was no tide. No rhythmic lapping against the hull. The boat felt like it was suspended in resin. She stood up, her balance innate and cat-like, scanning the horizon. The sun was dipping toward the jagged, saw-toothed treeline of the island, casting long, distorted shadows that seemed to stretch toward them, rather than away. "It's just the mist," Rachel said, though the reassurance felt thin, like parchment paper. "The ferryman said the fog off the coast of Oakhaven does weird things to light refraction. It's a trick of the eye. I've been taking photos for 6 years, Rachel. I know how light behaves." Sarah lowered the camera, her brow furrowed. She tapped the screen of her GPS unit. It flickered, the digital compass needle spinning lazily in a complete, clockwise circle before dying entirely. "And I know when my gear is lying to me. This isn't refraction. It's a dead zone." Rachel turned her attention back to the island. Blackwood Manor sat on the highest bluff, a Gothic carbuncle of dark stone and rotting timber. From this distance, the structure seemed to shift, its proportions defying the rules of architecture. One wing appeared to lean at an impossible, acute angle, while the towers seemed to elongate as she watched, like a drawing being pulled through a mangle. "It's not on the map, Sarah," Rachel said, her voice dropping to a whisper. "I mean, the island is on the charts, but the house, look at the topography. The bluff should be a gentle slope. That's a cliff face. It's a vertical drop into the sea. Maybe it eroded?" Sarah suggested, but her hand gripped the edge of the aluminum bench, her knuckles white. "Erosion takes centuries. That looks like it was carved out by something with a grudge." Rachel reached out to touch the side of the boat, feeling a cold, vibrating hum emanating from the metal, as if the entire island were a tuning fork struck by a giant's hand. The playfulness of their trip, the urban exploration thrill, evaporated. A few minutes ago, they had been laughing about the legends, trading ghost stories, and mocking the sensationalist blogs they'd read. Now, the silence was heavy, sentient. It pressed against their eardrums, a physical weight that made it hard to draw a full breath. "Rachel," Sarah said, her voice vibrating with a sudden, sharp realization. "Look at the birds." Rachel looked up. The sky above the island was a bruised purple, vibrant and sickly. There were no gulls. No crows. No movement at all in the air. The space above the trees was a vacuum of life. Even the wind had died, yet the mist continued to swirl around the manor's peaks, independent of any breeze. "We should turn back," Sarah said, her pragmatism warring with a sudden, jagged spike of adrenaline. "We can hit the mainland, grab a hotel, and rethink this. This isn't just an abandoned estate. There's something wrong with the air here. I can taste it. Like ozone and old copper." Rachel looked at the manor. She felt an inexplicable, magnetic pull in her sternum, a rhythmic thrumming that matched her own heartbeat. She knew, with a terrifying, intuitive certainty, that if they turned the boat around, they would never reach the shore. The path back had vanished the moment they entered the mist. The island wasn't just a location, it was a hungry aperture, and they had already stepped into its throat. "I can't, Sarah," Rachel replied, her eyes locked on the dark, unblinking windows of the main hall. "What do you mean, you can't?" "It's a boat, Rachel. Turn the ignition, pull the cord, we leave."